Hey guys!
Hello everybody.
Alrighty. Got Denny back in the house today. Gonna do a purse, and I'm going to attempt to keep up with him. But we'll see how that goes.
How the meds working today, Liz?
They're fine.
Good.
It's great. It's a great day.
Liz isn't feeling as good as she has in the past. On some point.
Yeah, this has been a tough week for me. But I just got through with vacation, and so if I didn't come in, then I would just feel really bad about it.
You feel like you were milking it?
Yeah. Just feel like I let people down. I'm very peer pressurable, so that's
quite a word.
I don't know if it is a word, but I feel that. I don't like to let people down.
Yeah.
So anyways, we have commissioned Denny with making videos for the classic classic handbag pattern pack.
Yeah.
Those are the words.
Are we doing the whole pattern pack?
We sure are, all three of them.
Okay.
He just learned this just right now. You're going to do this one, and then you'll do the next one, and then you'll do the last one.
Yeah, we're starting with the Lillian.
We are.
Which is that little beauty right there.
Now she's upside down. There it is.
It's that little beauty.
You have the other ones there too, Denny?
I've got, yes. This is actually the pattern pack.
And still upside down.
Still upside down.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since Denny's been on a video, evidently.
It wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
All right, this is the one we're doing today. I don't know which one we're doing next time around, but one of the other two.
That's right.
The Annie or the Alice.
We'll see if we make it all the way through this one today, but then the plan is to do it again on Wednesday, and then we'll start the other one on Friday.
Yep.
Yeah, we won't make it all the way through this one today.
Denny guarantees it.
Lots of lacing to do.
Yeah, this whole bag there's no stitching, is there?
Yeah, no stitching.
No stitching,
whatsoever.
it's all laced up.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do whatever you like when you make it, but we buck stitched the whole thing.
Yeah.
Or he did.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with the Lillian, and it looks like you've already got your little top panels tooled out here.
Yes, actually I cut the patterns all out. I cut them out of just the paper that comes in the pattern pack, but then I transferred them all to a piece of heavier paper. It's just easier for me to work with. And there aren't very many parts to this. You got the front and the back. One of them's a little different than the other, but it explains that in the pattern pack. And this is the bottom, and it's two pieces because one of them is a stiffener. And this is the back of the bag handle, and then this will be the front of the bag handle. And speaking of which,
oh, look at that!
Here they are. This is the front, and it's all cut and tooled and ready to lace on. This is the back, same way. But
Denny loves a good meander.
I do. I love a good meander. I meander a lot. But I've cut a liner for each one of these too.
Okay.
And I cut these oversized.
Sure.
You
should always.
Yeah, because that way you can cement everything together and trim it off to fit.
That's right.
Okay, this is the front, and it's about a ½ inch wider than the back, because I'm going to fold this front over, make a folded edge on this, because it's going to lace together to that other part, and if I didn't, there would be a raw edge there. But, that's where we're going to start right now, is I'm going to cement this back edge.
And then Denny, just before we get going here, is there a specific weight recommendation that we've got for this bag?
Yeah, This is probably a 3 to 4 ounce, maybe a 4 to 5 ounce leather, and it's got a little body to it. You can use more of an upholstery type leather that's more drapey, but it won't stand up nearly as well.
Yeah, and this bag really needs to stand up.
Yeah, because this bag needs some body to it, so it'll stand up on its own.
So it looks like we recommend in the pattern for your handles to cut them out of 9 to 10 ounce. So for your veg panels that you're tooling, it recommends 9 to 10 ounce. It looks like Denny maybe went a little bit thinner on his, but really that's kind of preference, and it might work into what leather you're going to line it with.
Well, in all reality, by the time you put both pieces together, we will have probably 9 to 10 ounces.
Exactly. Yeah. And then for the body of the bag, we do recommend a 3 to 4 ounce firmer leather. So this is just an odd lot leather, and I think you actually sold this last week on the live sale.
SB Foot Berry.
Yeah. So don't call in looking for it because we used it all or sold it all last week, but that's what that is.
Okay, and to further let you know on this, since this top piece is going to fit like this, and then there'll be a liner on the back of that on the inside. So I skived this edge down. Skived it to a feather edge. It's not going to show. It's going to be sandwiched in between everything. And these two edges, they're going to fold over. I skived those down too, so they'll fold easier and won't make such a big lump there. So right now, what I'm going to do is cement these two edges. And we're going to fold over a 1/2 inch, so I made myself a line 1 inch up to the inside of this.
There you go.
I've got a line, I don't know, you can just barely see it, but it goes along there. It's 1 inch to the inside. That's how far I'm going to cement,
Okay.
because when I fold it over, that's about where that'll be. Ouch.
Yeah, pinched myself with the rock. And then if anybody's curious, got my replacement mug in last night. So I've got my Star Wars Wookiee Life, what was it? Life Day something or other mug. But this is the one that Chris broke in the airport, and then he had to buy me a new one. It is a little bit awkward to drink out of because this lip is quite inward. So ideally it's not a great mug, but it looks really cool and I like it.
Drink your coffee with a straw.
That's weird, Denny.
So it's dribbling down your chin.
That is true. I was gonna say this side already has lots of streaks because it's just a little awkward to drink from, but that's okay.
But it's a beautiful mug.
Exactly.
That's a great shot of that glue pot.
Yeah, look at that TS boy.
Okay. Now I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to get this piece of granite over here.
You're good. Keep doing what you're doing.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get your TS boy out of the way.
All right. Now this is the back of the bag, which matches the front. It'll just be the opposite of the front, only it's not that 1/2 inch wider because I'm not going to fold it. But I do need to skive this top edge, which is what I'm going to do right now.
I thought you were going to put that pot right back there and just leave it.
Well, I almost did, and then I thought, well, I'll probably hear about that.
I guarantee you would.
So I'm just going to skive this edge down to a feather here. And there, you don't want to tear it up any more than you have to, but you don't have to be extra careful because you're not going to see this. This is just to make all your parts blend together good.
How sharp is that?
It will cut you.
If you are not careful.
So satisfying.
I've done that.
Charles wants you to make Liz a Wookiee bib.
A Wookiee bib?
Yeah, for your Wookiee.
Like a hairy bib?
Well, just so you're able to drink your coffee without dribbling on your
Oh, I understand.
But it has to match your mug, so it has to be a Wookiee bib.
We could use some what are those shearlings called that are all curly?
Oh, Angora?
Yeah, the Angora.
Yeah.
Well, for the woolies, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Some woolly fur. There is some green Angora hides.
We have some?
I don't know if we have any, but I saw one in Dallas this year, and I really wanted to buy it. It was a whole big panel that was like this olivey green. It was beautiful.
Okay, this is ready to stick, so I'm going to fold this over and stick it to that line that I was talking about a minute ago.
I have no idea where that camera shooting. Oh, it's close enough.
Just making a good old rolled edge.
And in a minute after I get this one stuck, I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to
Hammer it down.
hammer it down, make it nice and flat. hopefully it'll be nice and flat.
Jenny Farmer, shoemaker, had a comment, but I think that it was auto-corrected. I've never seen you ski before, but she envies your skiing skills. I think it's supposed to be skiving.
Oh, hey, I could ski too. I used to ski.
Yeah?
Did you?
Yeah, because I grew up in Colorado.
Oh,
you know?
true. Mm-hmm.
If you live in Colorado, you gotta
ski.
have to.
Otherwise, they look at you weird.
I have never once been skiing.
Not in the water
Nope,
or in the snow?
neither.
All right, there's that nice folded edge right on that silver line that I marked. Got lucky there, didn't I?
I've heard you can erase those.
You can. That's why we use that silver marking pen, because it's erasable. All right. Now, when all is said and done, this is going to be laced to here, and then this one fold over and be laced there like that. So I need to punch those holes now before I go any further, because if I don't, have you ever heard the word snooker yourself?
I think you may have said it a time or two.
And I have done it.
Denny does not want to be snookered today.
I have snookered myself many times. Okay, I'm going to make myself a line on each of these folded sides.
Yeah, there's really no way to punch those lacing slots after you've got this bag assembled.
Yeah. Because actually I'm going to put the front and the back on and buck stitch those to each piece before I lace these sides on.
Okay.
The sides are going to be afterwards.
And then we are not putting a lining in this bag, but if you wanted to, you would have either glued a lining piece already here, if you wanted, to not have the inside of the bag, or you could make a drop-in liner that you could
well, the
stitch in.
pattern shows a drop-in liner with an actual zippered
zipper pocket and everything.
pocket, which is optional.
Oh, yeah.
The liner and the
there.
pocket are
Yeah.
optional, and for time purposes, we're not going to do those today. All right, now get my piece of granite,
Your poly cutting board.
and I
Do you
probably
want
ought to
some
make
basting
myself
tape?
a line on each side here. I'm going to go. Let's see here.
I'm just doubling it.
Yeah, because this has got to overlap. I have to overlap enough where that's going to cover, so.
Oh my God! Jennifer saw me when I was at Disneyland. You didn't say hi? That's amazing.
She should have just yelled from where she was at.
You shoulda.
It's SLC Liz! Liz!
That would have been incredible.
Yeah? You would have stopped and talked to her, I bet.
Yeah, I woulda. I was in no rush.
She was on vacay.
That's right.
What else are you gonna do? She's standing in the line waiting for a ride.
I was having a good time.
That's the
Waiting
point
for
I
a
made.
ride.
Well, I hope you also had a great time at Disneyland. It was a good time.
Okay, I'm going to use 1/8 inch lace, so I've got an 1/8 inch lacing chisel here.
Is that how that works?
Most of the time, yes.
If you wanted to attach a liner out of fabric, what's the best glue to attach it to the panels?
There again, contact cement. To me, it is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't glue. So the problem with fabric is that it's porous, and so if you use a contact cement, it's just going to soak through the.
Well, it depends on the fabric.
Yeah,
that you use,
that is
too.
true. Really, depending on the fabric, I wouldn't necessarily just glue it. I would do the drop-in liner so that you're not gluing it to the sides of the leather. Maybe that's not what you're talking about. But then to the top, you can always use basting tape just to attach it in.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think when we did the original for the pattern, I think we did a drop-in liner just for that purpose. That way you don't have to make things match up and you don't have to worry about bleed through the
Exactly.
cement.
Yeah.
And the drop-in liner is nice. I mean, it just feels better, you know.
Yeah, it makes it so you can kind of pull it out, like if you had a little spill, trying to
Yeah,
get the
you can
crummies
turn
out of
it
the corner of your
inside out.
purse. Yep,
Yeah.
you could clean it a little bit easier.
I remember I made some motorcycle saddlebags, and Rusty was adamant about that. He said, make that liner drop in so that you can turn it inside out, because you get sticks and everything in those
Yeah.
kind of things. All right. I have one side punched. Got lucky there, didn't I? I always feel lucky when things work out.
Me too.
Well. Okay, I'm gonna make the bottoms match since I've skived the top and they're a little bit wanky there. Wanky, that's a new word.
I like it.
What?
Jennifer said she was too shocked and bewildered seeing somebody that she knew, and then her kids were also in a hurry to get to Dumbo. I did not ride Dumbo. I do like to ride the kiddie rides, though, because sometimes they're just fun. I was really disappointed. Alice in Wonderland is one of the only, one of the few rides, including Dumbo, that isn't also at Disney World. And as soon as we got into the line for Alice in Wonderland, the ride broke.
Oh,
And
no.
so, like the people come out and they're like, oh, it could be 5 minutes. It could not come up. We just don't know. And so we stood there probably for like another 10 or 15 minutes waiting. And then we decided to get in line at the Teacups, which is right next door to Alice in Wonderland. And Chris is a really big fan of the Teacups because he likes to see how fast he can spin it. And turns out he can go pretty fast. But also there were 4 adult people in one teacup because we had 2 friends with us, and you don't fit well as adults in the teacups because the inside is smaller than the outside. And they had to Chris, he needed a good hand grip on the things, but all of our knees were like shoved into the middle. And so I've decided I would put my leg over one of our friends to give Chris a little bit more room to maneuver with the wheel. And they didn't like that very much, and they stopped the ride and yelled at us. And then I had to put my leg back in. And then Chris had to get the momentum going again with the spinning. And I think the entire line and everyone in the other teacups were like watching and laughing at us.
They thought you were playing Twister.
As 4 30-year-old people, mid 30-year-old people are viciously spinning in the teacups.
Or maybe they were mad because you got to ride extra time because I started it and you got to ride a little bit and then they had to stop it and then you got the full ride all over
Got
again.
to ride again. Yeah.
I need to get a scratcher.
Okay.
I'll go get a scratcher.
Okay.
Tell us about the first time you ever rode a roller coaster, Denny. It's probably powered by gravity.
Oh, a roller coaster. That was at, where was it? I think it was in Wichita, but I don't remember that time. But I remember in Denver there used to be an amusement park called Elitch's.
Okay.
I think it might even still be there.
There is a little amusement park in the middle of Denver.
This was a big one.
Okay.
I mean, at that time it was big anyway.
Well.
It wasn't Disneyland. But I thought it was huge because I was little. But they had a really neat roller coaster.
Yeah. I really liked the Incredible roller coaster in California Adventures. Was a lot of fun. That was a good one. It shoots you out, and it's like the only real big kid ride that Disneyland has is the Incredibles one. So we went on that one twice. It was a lot of fun.
I didn't know exactly which one you wanted, and I didn't ask, so
This one. Thank you.
that's what I figured.
I appreciate that.
Let's hear. John, welcome to Alive. Glad you're here. Thanks for joining the conversation. We always like it when people talk to us. Makes us feel like we're not just talking to nobody out there. So, let's see here.
I mean, the chat's going crazy. It's just whether or not I put them up on.
Yeah, I know. Tony doesn't like to share the communication, so sometimes Denny and I just feel like we're just talking to the wind. And he's over there fielding the wind. So.
How heavy are your dead weights, Denny?
Or my what?
Your dead weights.
Weights. How heavy?
Oh, what are they?
Isn't it
2 pounds, I believe. Yeah.
I think that's as much lead shot as we can get in one of those.
Yeah, and this one's a homemade one that I made long ago, and it's a little bit less than that. But this one's about 2 pounds.
The ones that we sell are 2 pounds.
Yeah.
Denny has one really big one that's probably like a 10-pound dead weight.
Yeah. Well,
I used that when I was cutting all the slots for my baskets.
originally, the one I had had bought a 25-pound bag of lead shot. Mm-hmm. And I made 2 small dead weights like this, and then I made a big one out of the rest of that 25-pounder.
Oh gosh.
But when I came to work here and they decided that we were going to start selling them, we needed to prototype. Mm-hmm. So they used the rest of my shot in that 25-pound bag on that. So I made another one, but it was probably 20 pounds or more for that one big one.
What were you holding down? A child?
No. That would work.
Stay there.
It would work. I used it on saddle seats. You know, when I was forming a saddle seat, you put your
that leather can be
your
pretty stout.
drawdown stand on there and shape the saddle seat, but then you tip the stand backwards and lay that big weight in the dish of the candle.
Oh.
And it helps it keep its shape until it dries.
Interesting. All right.
Denny, they said the park is still there. It's over by Coolers Field.
Well, cool. And I don't know where Coors Field is.
It's by the park.
Okay, good. I'm glad to know that. Whew. That was starting to bother me.
Now you know.
You can go back.
Yeah, okay. Now, let me see where I am here. We'll cement this.
All right, so Denny, Josh has an interesting question. He said he just watched the video that we did on all the finishes. I think that was the one I did with Clayton. And the aerosol sprays don't hold up to water very well. And I guess like the Masters Quick Shine would be, the Saddle Lac should because it's a lacquer. But I don't quite remember.
Well, it depends on what you mean by hold up. You know, nothing's going to waterproof leather. It's going to take on water eventually. Some are a little more water repellent for a while than others. Mm-hmm. I've never had a problem with Masters Quick Shine myself, but
Well, what he is kind of wondering is if he's doing a tooling project and he's antiquing it, and you use your aerosol spray after you antique to make sure you're not pulling up the antiquing, can then after the aerosol, the Quick Shine or whatever it is that you're using, after that dries, can you go back over it with a wipe on?
I guess I've never tried that.
And then do one of the acrylic finishes. I mean, probably it'd probably be fine. You could airbrush it on too really airbrushing is probably ideal. So if you are really worried about water resistance, doing several thin fine coats with an airbrush is probably the best way, using an acrylic finish. It's probably the best way to get it as water resistant as possible.
I don't know what uses your products or you're using them for, and what type of product you make. But like coasters, I use Master Quick Shine on coasters, and they get about as much water on them as anything. Mm-hmm. And I've really never had a problem with it.
Consummate Nerd was saying, and that was going to be my thing too, is that the Finichi Diamond Water Stain is really good. It
is, and that is its own, like once it dries and you buff it, it's kind of its own finish.
Mm-hmm. And it has nice repellent properties. Mm-hmm. Somebody was saying a 25-pound bag of shot now, Denny, $90.
It wasn't that much when I bought it, you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Do we need to look at the pricing on our dead weights?
I mean, it could have been a conversation for after the video, but let's go ahead and discuss it now.
Might need like a little asterisk we need to make a note for.
I already made the note, but
Thanks, Tony.
now it's forever been noted. Look at that glue pot. It's a great shot.
I know for a while, like, we were having problems just buying lead shot, because we just used to go to Bass Pro here and pick up a bag, and it was just that easy, and then they didn't have it in stock for months.
Yeah. That must be why it's $90 a bag now for 25 pounds.
Well, you know, for a long time, just ammunition, period, was scarce.
Mm-hmm.
Tangled up leather said, "Everyone, hurry up and buy your dead weights."
I'm trying to keep the glue pot out of the way, Tony.
Yeah, you're doing a great job. Kind of.
It's perfect. You're gluing right now, so it works.
I mean, it's better than the shot of this camera that I have. Which is a shot of nothing.
There's just, you gotta get that handle out of the way.
Oh, BBs. Yeah, you could use BBs. I'm sure they're not.
Nah, you can. The whole purpose of the dead weight, though, is the weight.
Yeah.
And BBs
Aren't heavy.
They aren't even half the weight of a lead shot.
What if you get a bunch of Galena stone?
I don't know.
I got fishing weights in mine.
Fishing weights?
Yeah, that's what I put in mine.
Yeah.
Are they small enough?
You can do them in all different sizes.
Yeah.
Dive weights. Cover a dive weight in leather.
You could do that. You know, a lot of people just use a paperweight.
Yeah, I see a lot of, like, just kind of steel blocks that have been covered in leather.
Yeah.
That's pretty popular. Or
Fire on.
bye.
Dean wants to know what kind of glue's in that pot. Facetiously.
Oh, Dean.
I think that's a rhetorical question.
I can't even smell the glue today.
The little mini anvil as a weight.
I'll tell you what, we were, yeah, mini anvil will work. We were out of Master's Quick Shine for a couple of weeks.
Oh, no.
We were just out, and there was none in the store anywhere. And I started using a lacquer.
Uh-huh.
And man, you talk about, it would have opened your sinuses. You could have smelled after that. It was some wicked stuff. All right, this is the one that goes with this. So it's ready to stick on. See there, you guys, how nicely that worked.
Perfect.
Great gluing, Denny.
Thanks.
Much better than the last time Clayton was in here trying to glue something together.
Yeah, that was a fiasco.
There's something.
Okay. This, I'm going to cut this a little bit closer than what I haven't cut because I want to skive this bottom edge. I'm still going to make it a little bit large. Not as huge large as I had it.
You can't see the chats over here, but in the Twitch chat, I made an emote of a glue pot. So people can use it when we start gluing stuff. Or if it just gets in the way.
How's your crown doing?
It's still on my head. We got one of Luna too. I don't know if I showed you that.
I think maybe you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Because then I was like, oh, you should use that picture that Holly took with her tongue hanging out of her mouth.
Not that you. I don't know if you'd be able to see her teeny tiny tongue.
I know.
But it's still a cute picture.
Well, it doesn't make it any less cute. That's right.
I'm sure Holly will put it on something someday.
Yeah.
Some marketing.
Denny's skiving skills are blowing everybody's mind.
That's my goal. You guys are going to be mindless when we're done here.
Not quite exactly the same.
Okay.
You should have brought me some glue.
I should have.
Here, I can go get some glue. I'm gonna be gluing forever.
Denny puts his glue on just like everybody else. One brush load
Yeah,
at a time.
one brush at a time. And I didn't cut out the center hole of this handle on this liner yet. I will do that after everything's put together and laced up. That way it'll be perfect fit. Or fairly perfect.
You know, Clayton did have that one container deal that had the little roller on the top of it. When you put it on, you just kind of roll glue on there. Did you ever see that?
I haven't
Maybe it
ever
was
seen
Clayton.
it.
All right, give me something.
Okay. You can glue this glue to that line, just the whole thing.
Whole thing.
The whole thing.
Will do.
And I will start on this.
And that is the cup that she was expecting.
Yeah. So ironically, last night I get home and all I did last night was lay on my couch and watch Grace and Frankie 4 hours. That's what I did. And there was this one box that came yesterday, and usually I just open all of the boxes that come because Chris orders a lot of things, and they drive me crazy when they sit in the living room within just boxes forever, and I have to like divvy out like, okay, what's work stuff, because Chris orders all the work stuff too, and half the time it comes to the house, and then like what's home stuff, and then I put it away. And so this box came last night, and I just didn't have the energy to do anything with it, so it just sat on the living room floor, and finally Chris comes downstairs from doing whatever it was that he was doing, and he opens the box, and lo and behold, it's my mug. It came in a box that was like this big. It was like a massive thing. And Denny, I can't open this. Thank you. And yeah, so it was my mug that came. And I just thought it was really funny because I'm usually the person that opens everything, and I didn't open that box. I don't know. Maybe it was funnier in my head. Yeah. Chris always yells at me because then he gets in trouble because he buys all the Legos. And then they come in and I open the box and I'm like, what is this, Chris? I shake it and I'm like, what'd you buy now?
Does he ever buy you anything for Legos?
I mean, I just say all the Legos are our Legos.
There's your cup, Liz.
Yep, there it is. Isn't it cute, guys? I think it's super adorable. Once again, pretty hard to drink out of, but I mean, it's cute. And this is like the color of my living room.
Lego flowers.
Yes, we have all the flowers. I actually have the Lego bouquet in my living room. It's on my coffee table.
Like a thing of real flowers would be.
Yep, it's in a vase. It's super cute.
I love it.
Denny, there was a question. How come you're skiving the part as the upper part of the handle instead of leaving a little bit more for rigidity?
Because I'm not going to be lacing it right out to the edge. And it's not down to a complete feather either. I did leave a little bit.
Yeah.
I can smell this.
You can?
Yeah.
It's probably better glue than I have.
It's pretty full.
I have no idea if we can see you or not.
You can see Denny.
Okay. Molly said she would have coffee all over her trying to drink out of that.
Really, it's not. It just kind of runs down the edge. Like that's the biggest problem.
Is it a dishwasher cup or you have to wash it by hand?
I don't know. It's just gonna sit on my desk, and it'll probably only get washed when I rinse it out to put more coffee in it.
Oh, there you go.
So,
A new Rolling Stones Lego set?
what was there's like a buildable Groot that's coming out that I'm pretty excited about. I love my Groot.
What's a Groot?
From Guardians of the Galaxy, he's a tree creature. He only says, "I am Groot," and it's Vin Diesel, and he says it in different ways, and Rocket can understand what he's saying. And
Rocket
is the Rocket is the trash panda.
Trash bin.
It's like a genetically modified raccoon that talks.
What show was this?
Guardians of the Galaxy. Tony, we're gonna have movie night like once a week until you are caught up with movies that I need you to have watched so that I can make my references.
All right.
Isn't it on Disney Plus?
Yeah, because Disney bought Marvel, so they own all the stuff now.
I mean, not all of it.
They own most of the stuff. It's a little ridiculous.
I mean, they own ESPN, ABC.
Pardon my noise for just a moment. Okay, I'm done.
Randy said, I'm pretty sure that I see my trading cards up there. You're right, they're up there.
Yeah, and we should have yours sent out yesterday, and we apologize that it took so
Bob
long.
wants us to remember that Thor knows Groot language too.
Oh, that is true. Oh, what did Thor call Rocket? He had a nickname for him that was really funny. But help me out, people.
Angela's asking how the cross references were going on the Excel sheet from live shopping.
It's a rabbit.
A rabbit, that's what he calls him. Thanks, Chad.
It's going okay. We haven't sent them out yet. Still making some of the cross references act correctly.
You're good.
Okay. Now I'm ready to start punching this to be laced.
It's like the granite shuffle today.
Yes,
I feel like you're playing.
Here and there, here and there. All right, I'm going to sit down to do this. And I have, if I can find them, 3 different lacing punches. I have a gang punch here that has 7 or 8 or 9. I have a 4. And I have a 2. And all of these will probably come into play. I'm going to start out with this big one. And I've marked myself a line here already too, you guys. Okay, I'm already to the 4.
Spear Headers on Instagram says, I wanted to say that I appreciate your customer service.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
They have the hardest job here, guys, is trying to manage all of the phone calls and the emails and the chats and all of the things and trying to know everything. It's really hard. It is not an easy job, especially for a new person, which we do have a handful of new people in the office, so
And
we appreciate.
Sometimes customers have different ways of approaching problems
That
that
is-
they have to deal with.
That is right. But
Well, and most of the employees that we have aren't really leather craftsmen before they come to work here,
that's right.
and they get phone calls asking about things they've never heard of before.
Yeah.
That's what's hard to deal with, but you know, the longer they're here, the more they learn, and we have an employee educational program where Jeff teaches them different things now, and I believe that's probably helping them a lot.
Oh, yes. Oh, for sure. Yeah, Jeff is... For those of you that have ever shopped on our retail floor, you probably know Jeff. He's been here for a really long time. And, yeah, so now he does employee education, just trying to train our staff on leathercraft. Because you know what? You can't hire 100 leathercrafters to answer phones and fill mail order. Like, you guys want to make stuff out of leather. So, yeah. Thank you for your kind words. We'll pass it along. They appreciate everybody.
This is the boring part, you guys, just punching lacing holes.
Well, fortunately, Denny, you've got a captive audience.
But they can leave at any time. They're only captive until they decide
By
to
choice.
break jail.
Joshua said one time he needed to ask a question, and Kevin was the one that held the answer, so they went and found him so he could ask Kevin
Yeah.
a question.
That's,
Denny, have you ever baked your leather before?
No, I haven't, but I've dealt with people who have.
And
It's not a good idea for something that you're going to use. That's my opinion.
does it
My
make it
opinion
extra
only.
brittle or what?
It cooks it.
so you could bake leather that you don't want to use, but if you would like to use
if
it,
you're
don't.
just doing a wall hanging or something like that.
Oh, you mean like a physically
Yeah.
like moving product?
Yeah. There was a fella that he bought, I think it was probably a double shoulder or something. This has been several years back. But he came in a week or so and he said, this leather is bad. There's something wrong with it. And he was building knife sheaths. And he had one there, and it was, in the first place, it was dyed, you know, which he had saturated the leather with dye, which makes the leather brittle too. Mm-hmm. But then he had baked it in the oven at 450 degrees for 20 minutes. He thought he was making a cake, I guess. But he says, look at this. When you bend it, it breaks.
Why would anybody bake leather?
It makes it hard.
Oh, like when you hear about like boiled hide for like armor.
Yeah. And that, to me, you're doing the same thing. You're cooking the leather. Even if you just boil it.
Don't cook your leather, guys.
Yeah. I don't think it's a good idea. Some people will disagree with me, I'm sure. But that's all right, because I'm disagreeable.
No, you're not. I don't think I've ever. I mean, maybe I have, but I've really baking leather.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've heard it before from people other than just that one fella, you know. He said, well, this is what someone told me to do. I thought, well, quit doing what people tell you to do. I don't know. Everybody has a different opinion on stuff.
It reminds me of that poor guy. I had somebody reach out to me and he's like, Liz, I'm struggling here. You know, I keep getting finished on the front of my belts and, you know, then I'll go to finish my belt. And I was like, well, what are you doing? And he was finishing his edges first. That was the first thing that he was doing, was finishing edges. And I feel like I've heard it a couple times where people are like, oh, finish your edges and then do the front. And I was like, no, don't, because you can't, there's no way that you can keep your edge finishing product off the front of your belt.
Yeah.
And if any of that gets on the front and then you go to dye over it, you have a resist and it's going to be spotty and it's just never going to work. I was like, edge finishing should be the last thing that you do just all the time.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I think he makes some good belts now. But that was always kind of a weird thing. Like, unless it's a weird spot where you have to but like even like the dyeing and stamping and all that should just always come first. And then your edge finishing.
Yeah, any finishing should be just what the name implies. Should be the finish.
Yeah.
The end, folks.
You mean well, sometimes when you cross the finish line, don't you just start over again? Maybe it's a different race.
Yeah, in the silly race.
I mean, I guess in NASCAR, they make you go over and over and over the finish line many, many times until they call it quits.
They usually wave a checkered flag.
Nobody bought our checkered flag leather yesterday. How did that happen?
Because we forgot to put it back up there again, but I'm okay with it. We used it in our foot race. Abigail challenged me to a foot race.
Should we show the video?
We can show it on the after party.
Okay.
Nobody bought the leather yesterday, so we decided to have a foot race. Maybe we should just keep it and make some flags out of it and hang them on, like, retail.
Have
like an entrance somewhere.
Back on retail. I just came in what we built. Oh, we're making a purse, a Lillian purse.
Abigail says she won.
Okay. Guess we'll see on the video. I mean, you can see where I didn't really start running until partway through the race, and then she ended up. I said, "We're gonna race to Kevin's car," where Chad was standing with the checkered flag, and she stopped like 3/4 to the end.
She was tired.
She was also in overalls, racing in overalls.
And platform shoes.
They weren't platform.
They were.
They were non-platform shoes.
They were.
I mean, they
They're
might
like
have
platform
been
tennis shoes. They're like
they were chunky, but they weren't platform.
they're chunky shoes.
Don't even try to con me into thinking those were platform shoes. I know about my shoes.
Abigail said, rematch!
I've about got this punched.
We're almost around the racetrack.
Yeah. Drawing to the line.
Just got to get around these corners and we can go back to our 8-prong.
Yeah.
So, Denny, are you going to wait to cut out the center until you get it laced?
Yeah, I probably will.
Yeah.
You can cut it out now that it's cemented, but I always wait because I feel like when you're lacing or stitching something, the leather might crawl a little bit, and I think you'll just get a better edge on it if you wait till after you're done with your lacing or stitching.
Oh, look at that. All
That's
that way.
the one we were looking
There
for.
it is.
And for some reason, it matched exactly.
Yes.
All right.
Looks great.
Very good. All right, I would bore you guys with lacing this other one, with the punching this other one, but I'm not going to do it. I am going to stick it together though. But I am going to start to lacing a little bit of that.
So we'll get the buck stitching started and then Denny will do the majority of it probably on his own.
Yeah.
That's what we should be about baking in here. Instead of our leather, we should be baking cupcakes.
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
I heard a guy the other day say, if you lick the icing off of a cupcake, it makes it a muffin. And muffins are healthy, right?
So the one thing that was disappointing about Disneyland is that nobody had cupcakes. When we were at Disney World, they always, like, each section of the parks would have, like, specialty cupcakes. And those things were delicious. Like, we got a one in the Animal Kingdom that was like a Lion King themed cupcake that was amazing. We got a Gaston cupcake at the Magic Kingdom that was really spectacular. So many amazing cupcakes at Disney World. Disneyland, not a one cupcake did we find. I was pretty bummed out about that. Disney, I don't know what's going on at Disneyland, but your cupcake game is not on point, and I was real sad about that.
That's the main reason you went to California was for cupcakes, right?
I mean, I was so, like, they were, like, moist, and the frosting was really good, and they had, like, really fun, like the Gaston one had, like, these fun sprinkly things on it, and then, I don't know, they were really good. And Chris and I really enjoyed sharing cupcakes at Disney World, and there were none to be found in Disneyland, and that was kind of a disappointment of the trip, is that there were no delicious cupcakes.
It'd be tough to not do a Mexican round braid if you didn't cut out your center now, would it?
Yeah, you couldn't do it.
Yeah. Okay.
That'd feel great.
We're talking about something different here, yeah.
If you got a nice Mexican round braid to hold on in the middle of your handle, wouldn't that feel nice on your hands?
Yeah, it would be kind of bulky.
Yeah, that way nobody can come by and snatch it.
That's true. And you could whack someone with it, and it would hurt a lot worse.
I put a question up there for you.
So let's hear. Linda asked, is there a way to stain leather after it has been saddle stitched? Sure, you do it from time to time.
Yeah, it's gonna stain the stitching.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you have white stitching, be prepared to no longer have white stitching. But if it's like black and brown thread, then you're not really probably going to be able to tell a difference. And you kind of have to work to get that like antique out of the stitch line because you really want to get as much. But if you use shearling and buff it out, it's not a big deal. Yeah, you can do that, Linda.
And if you're using a synthetic thread like nylon or polyester, it doesn't take the stain like the leather will, so it won't be quite as dark. Mm-hmm.
You'll just get
contrast.
Some antique stitching.
Yeah. I think that color is going to go good with this.
I am.
I think so. It looks great. What antique did you use?
I used a Cordovan antique.
Cordovan antique.
Paste.
The paste, yes. And this is, what color is this? This is maroon kangaroo lace, 1/8 inch.
And Linda, there are no dumb questions.
Yeah.
Except for Dean's glue question.
Or if it's going to have a zipper. Pretty much all the questions Dean asked. He was the first one to comment today on the YouTube stream.
Look at you go.
I mean...
What time was it when he commented?
Probably like 8 a.m. He made the first 3 comments.
Woo!
And then Zero and Ron joined him. It's so cool to watch the community in the different chats that are going on. Because they'll show up sometimes 10, 20 minutes early and just kind of have their own conversation and ask questions amongst themselves.
You guys are really pretty amazing.
So I'm watching this, Denny. It looks like, you have an extra space between your buck stitch. Could you do white on the other part where there's the gap? Could you?
Well, I guess.
I'm not asking you to.
Yeah,
I'm
sure
just
you
asking.
could. You'd have to go back to, yeah.
But if I went Let's see if we hold. But if I went like through the other way and made it come over the top and did a white that was there,
Yeah, you could.
yeah. Okay.
There's so many things you can do.
Oh man, there's this one guy on Instagram that likes to do all sorts of different hand sewing like styles. And so he'll do Cambridge? That doesn't seem right. It starts with a C. He makes like orthopedic legs or limbs in his real job. Anyways, he's a really great guy. He's super nice. A lot of you probably know him. Anyways, but he does this one that's like a figure 8. So he takes one color of thread and does like a figure 8 on the top, and then he does like your saddle stitch in between.
Thanks, Charles.
And so, like that's just, I mean, it's a lot of extra work to do to hand sew, but it looks really cool. It's pretty neat. But he does a lot of different styles of hand sewing.
Yeah, there are so many different ways to embellish a piece of leather. Stitching is one, lacing is one, paint is one, it goes on and on.
Mm-hmm.
And
he used builder's paste.
Claridge.
Claridge, that's it.
Claridge?
Yeah, Claridge leather. That's him.
Thanks, Molly.
I mean, and when you guys ask if it's okay to do something, it's okay to do anything. You have complete artistic license when you're making something.
Leather's just one big experiment.
Yeah.
That was not quiet.
I wish they made purple antique. But I mean, you could just do the block dye or do the purple and Angela's paint that we did.
Could you? So you've got the neutral
That was what
antique paste, and then add dye to it.
Yeah.
That was what Consummate Nerd was saying.
Mm-hmm.
The antique neutral paste is a game changer.
Yeah, I remember Josh used to experiment with different colors with antique paste.
Let's see here, Angela. Denny, if you wouldn't mind, could you go over your resist and antique formula /steps?
Okay, step 1. Dry your leather after you're done doing whatever it is you do to it.
Don't bake it, just let it dry.
Just let it dry. Step 2, you can use a hair dryer, but the main thing, don't have a whole lot of moisture in it. A little bit won't hurt. Number 2 is light coat of neat's foot oil, vegetable oil, or olive oil, whatever kind of oil you want to use. Number 3 is a resist. I use
How long do you let your oil dry?
You can do it almost immediately. I generally let it set for 20 or 30 minutes just so that the oil starts to leach through the
Saturate all the way
fibers of the
through.
leather.
Okay.
But after you've let your oil set for however long, you use a resist, and I use Masters Quick Shine. You can use any kind of resist you want. You can
I
use
like RTC,
Yeah.
the Be Natural. I like to use that resist. It's a good one. It's worked well for me.
But then you use your antique paste and use it liberally.
I'm gonna go back. Make sure your resist is dry.
Yes.
So, like I'll even, just if I'm a little bit weird about it, I'll let it dry overnight. Sometimes the last thing that I do is put my resist on, and then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna walk away because I don't want this to be tacky.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be any sort of wet. That needs to be completely sealed.
Yeah, you're right. If your resist isn't dry, it'll be tacky for the rest of its life.
Exactly. If you put that antique on, it's not going to be happy. So
Yeah.
make sure that your resist. Otherwise, you will never get this contrast. Like you will never have this clean. Like this is perfectly clean right here. And if your resist is not dry, this will get all sorts of streaks in it.
Consummate Nerd said, again, Finichi diamond leather finish.
Or yeah, I guess
As a resist.
As a resist.
Yeah.
Any kind of a clear sealer
Yeah.
will make a good resist, I
All
would
right.
think.
You can continue now.
Okay, where was I?
We've resisted.
Okay, we've resisted. Then liberally apply your antique and work it well into all the little nooks and crannies. If you have a little spot that you don't get it down in there, when you wipe it all off, there'll be a bright raw leather
Yeah.
spot right there. So make sure you work it in good. Then I always take a paper towel and fold it. Don't wad it, but just fold it up and wipe it across the surface, because you're just trying to wipe off the surface of the leather. You aren't trying to dig the antique out that you've just put in there.
Exactly.
You're trying to leave it pretty much in, all the impressions. But just wipe with that paper towel till you're not leaving any streaks. And then I always take a piece of shearling and wipe across the leather one more time. Just wipe it, because there'll be puddles of antique here and there.
Yeah, you don't want puddles in your things. Like, you still want this to be like crisp here.
Yeah. And that'll clean those puddles out, and then wipe it with your paper towel again till there's no streaks. Let it dry. Let it dry. And then go over it with a clear coat, whatever kind of a finish you want to use. If you use a wipe-on finish, it's going to wash off some of your antique.
Yeah, so we do always typically recommend spraying on that second finish. If you use a wipe-on first finish, that's fine for your resist, but then spraying on a second finish so that you're not lifting that antique back out of your tooling.
Poor Dean, he said he felt so disrespected.
Oh, Dean.
I don't know that Dean, I think Dean's
We like
pretty
giving you a
close
hard
to like
time.
me. Where he has no feelings to get hurt.
That's not true, Tony. All right. So that's the steps.
Yeah.
He did have a question, though.
I do. So Dean is asking how to get conchos to fit the leather thickness. Only leather washers. So I guess if you're using conchos and your leather's pretty thin, like maybe on a handbag, and it's a loose fit, because usually like on a belt, that concho is almost exactly like that's a 1/4 inch post, and you're usually like right once you get it screwed onto a belt. If you've got like a 10-ounce belt, you're usually fine.
Yeah.
But I guess if you've got some thinner leathers, you can use a leather washer.
Yeah, you can use a leather washer. I've even heard people of grinding off a little bit of the post. When you do that, a lot of times you have to rethread that post though, because you've ruined the thread.
So if you've got some tap and die sets at home.
Yeah. I mean, it's a dilemma. If you're trying to use conchos on something, you got to be careful what it is that you're using it on.
This is Tony.
A lot of times you can use a little bit thicker leather in those areas that you're putting the conchos on too.
Yeah, I was almost gonna say if you do have kind of like a 2-ply situation and you know you're gonna be putting a concho in that spot, maybe you could add a washer between your 2 layers. Skive down, feather down the edges, but just have that thickness in the middle.
Just add that.
That would be a little bit of work, but that would be ideal.
Looky here, 50-50 paid off.
Look at that! It's perfect. We won the toin cost today.
All right,
What? You won the what?
The toin cost. The toin.
the toin cost. Yeah,
The
we won
coin.
that.
We did win that.
Wow.
We won.
I have a cold!
Wow. Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to ask you again to give you another shot because you said it like 4 more times the wrong way. Elizabeth. Oh my goodness.
All right.
Liz is feeling great right now.
I'm fine.
She has no idea what's happening.
I was this close to going back to bed. I was like,
I wasn't for sure you were going to be here today, so.
I am though.
You are.
I'm here.
And we love you for it.
Thanks, Tony.
Angela, we don't make our own kangaroo lace. We order it. We order it from the land of kangaroos.
Ruland, we call it.
Yeah.
All right, now I will trim this up for you guys. Since you're all waiting with bated breath.
Oh, they are.
Hopefully it's not like catfish bait. I was gonna take I had this night, like the shots all set up, but then this happened. You are welcome, Dean. I'm glad that we can patch your feelings back up.
Man, that knife is so shiny. You can see like the tooling reflected in it as you go around.
Is it hurting your eyes?
No. Oh, it's fun.
Yeah. That's what we do sometimes, Liz, at the plate meeting, to figure out the home and away team. We do a coin toss.
I'm glad you do a coin toss. Listen, guys, it's been a long week.
So we got a Chevy guy and an average Ford disliker now on our Twitch stream.
What?
We just got a new follow guy. His screen, his name is on here as average Ford disliker.
Average Ford disliker.
Yep. And then we got a Chevy guy.
All right.
So
guys.
you Ford disliker? Are you a Chevy guy?
All right, you guys. I'm not going to bore you with any more stitching today.
You got some glue on there.
Oh no!
Look, it's off now.
You had some glue on there.
Okay, but what I want to tell you is, I'm going to go ahead and lace from about right here to about right here. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side from about right there across. I'm going to stop there because when we put this bag together, it's going to wrap around that edge and I'll need to lace that part.
That's right. So you're going to leave some extra length. You're going to have some so that you can keep going.
Yeah, yeah. I'll have enough where I can finish that out. I'll just.
So you're going to do that part off.
Yes,
Okay.
and as a matter of fact, I'll probably lace these sides together too.
Okay.
Because the bottom part is what we'll probably end up doing on
Okay.
How are you going to
Wednesday.
stitch the sides together? What kind of stitch are you going to do for the sides?
The same.
buck stitch.
Okay.
Just everything gets buck stitched on here.
But I've got to do the tops first because it's just so much easier to lace when they aren't together. If I was trying to lace all this with it all put together, it would be.
When you start your sides, are you going to start at the top and then come down?
It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
But I probably will.
Okay.
Probably will.
And then it'll just be what it is. So we've already got them punched. We punched them earlier, so that you just line them up. One side will be nice and easy. The other side will be a little inconvenient.
Okay, I've got another thing I'll tell you. I am going to scribe myself a lace line on this bottom and punch the lace holes just on this material. I won't punch it on that yet.
Okay.
Because I don't know exactly where they're going to be because the outside of a circle is different than the inside of a circle.
Just like in a teacup.
Yes, yes. But anyway, I'll have these holes punched.
On both sides?
Yeah, on both sides when we come back.
Alrighty.
But anyway, there you have it.
Alrighty, folks.
I had Travis Allen said, thank you for his trading card. It's even prettier in person.
Oh,
Which
good.
one did you get?
The one he picked out. He actually came in.
He was in here.
Oh,
It was his
came
first
in.
time in on Monday.
Oh, and Travis, just so you know, ox blood is now in stock that showed up yesterday,
Would you like us to send you some?
which seems very inconvenient since he just came Monday.
Sorry. That's how life works.
You win some, you lose some. It's a coin cost.
It's a coin cost.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, I got to tell you a story.
Okay.
You know my lovely little wife.
Uh-huh.
She is fairly dyslexic.
Okay. I feel that right now.
We were walking at the Veterans Cemetery. There's a trail that goes around by the river and by Springfield Lake there.
Okay.
And there's all sorts of marble benches here and there throughout that trail. And they all have some sort of a little military slogan on them.
Sure.
And one of them said, "Aim high." And she said, "I am high. Why would they put something like that?" Spelled the same letters.
The
Why
guy who was
would
hanging
they
the
do
signs
that?
was just letting everybody know.
She said, "Why would they do that?"
And you said, "Oh, honey." Did you say try one more time? It's like another look at that.
We laugh about things.
That's good.
I don't remember what we said we were doing on the after party at Twitch. Oh, watching the video of Abigail and I racing.
Yep.
Something like that. Next week we're gonna finish up this bag. The Thursday live shopping.
And then Friday we're gonna start a new
And
one.
then Friday we're moving on to the Annie or the.
And then unfortunately you have to do the next Wednesday without me because I will be coming back from New York. But I will be back in time for Thursday's live shopping.
You going out to see Jacob?
I am. I'm gonna bring him back with me too.
All right.
Yep. Anyways,
He needs to be on a video.
wouldn't that be a hoot?
It would.
I would love it.
Is there room?
I
all
don't
three
know.
of
We'll
us here?
see. He's kind of a giant.
Yeah.
All right.
He actually watched the other day when I was talking about him, which I thought was pretty funny. He sent me a text later that day. He's like, "You're talking about me." Anyways, if you watch this one, hi, I'll see you soon.
See you, Jacob. You better see me.
Oh, I'll make him come in.
All right.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. We'll see you later. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye.